If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Accessing.
The best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach, Tim LaComb. Big thanks to Greg Barnes, who joined us earlier in the show. Had a great conversation with him in regards to Caleb Wilson. I understand, we are spending a lot of time dissecting these guys. And we still have a long ways to go before the NBA draft. And you and I talked about this in the starting lineup. I think everybody, we're going to present a lot of differing opinions on these guys. But I think it's important to note that the draft is not tomorrow. The draft is not next week. We're looking at over a month, 40 days away from the NBA draft. It is so far away. And for the Jazz, they probably don't even know where they're going right now. Or they probably haven't even done their rankings at this point.
No, I think they have. Every ranking it almost has a date where it becomes now. You add that to another ranking, and so they had the season, they had the prior stuff before college, and now they've got this window where you can get way more familiar with these guys. One of the big rules with the NBA and young prospects is do not correspond, don't have a lot of contact, just like college. So this will be an opportunity for the teams to really dig in. Certainly they all have the view they have based on their roster and who fits best. I mean, I've heard from a couple of people inside the NBA that they don't think there's a planet that Trae Young and AJ DeBonsa could exist on together, because they both need the ball. They both have to have the ball. They lose oxygen without the ball. So, that's something to consider for Washington, obviously. But the thing we'll hear, Scotty, is we're going to hear really good things about these guys over the next couple of weeks. We're going to hear things that come out, or things that, smoke screens start to fly. And the Jazz just need to stay the course, and they will. I mean, these guys have done this a million times, and that's why I do find it funny that in the beginning, when it all happened, even myself, we all got caught up in emotion of it. But the reality is none of this is done emotionally.
No.
And you don't draft people you like, and you don't draft people because they went to school at a school near you, or, to school at a school near you because, geography, it makes sense. No, you're going to draft the best player. And so that's what the Jazz are going to be doing.
Look, one thing about Danny Ainge, and again, Danny isn't the sole decision maker. It's going to come down to him, Austin, Justin Zanuck, Ryan Smith will be in the room. There'll be a lot of people that will be able to share opinions, and collectively they will decide who is best for the Utah Jazz. But one thing that will not be, I remember talking to a member of the Jazz front office when they're in the Jimmer draft. And they had a chance. I think the Jazz were picking, I want to say 3 or 4, and then they had another one later on. And Jimmer ended up being right in the middle of that. And so the Jazz, with their first pick, it was too early to take him. And then with their last pick, they knew he'd be off the board by then. But the Jazz did, and this was many, many different regimes ago, and the Millers owned it at the time. But they did a little bit of a financial analysis of what drafting Jimmer would mean to the team. And it was crazy, as you would expect. BYU star, national star, and a chance for him to come and play for the Utah Jazz, the financial analysis was just crazy what that would mean. And so there were a lot of conversations about that, but ultimately they're like, okay, all right, so we're making money on jersey sales and maybe some extra ticket sales, but does it help us win? And when they meant win, is it worth taking him at the early pick? Is it worth trading down or trading up from that lower pick that they had? And ultimately they said, no, it's not. So, again, you have to take emotion out of it. And you have to just take, okay, who's best for our team? Who is best for our opportunity to win a championship? And if it's A.J. DeBonsa, great. If it's not, great. So be it. If it's Darren Peterson, let's go. But you have to come to that decision in a logical, unemotional fashion.
And the other thing I heard that was kind of pervasive amongst, things I read, and then, a couple people I talked to last night, there is a distinct difference between all these guys in terms of the things they bring.
Yeah.
The length, there's a variety of different skills, but in terms of one being heads and shoulders above the other, it's minuscule. And, there is no one, in this draft that would probably be I know that would be worth trading up for. I think they got to just do their diligence and make sure they've got their ducks in a row, because Washington could do anything. They're the number one guy. And so you try to figure out what you're going to do, but you've got to have them, like we talked about before, stacked up. And then that makes the decision easy when the night comes.
So, any thought of trading Ace Bailey and a pick to move up to number one? First off, no. And second of all, just banish that from your mind. You're a moron for even considering that. So, no. I did see somebody floated out the Jazz trading in 2029. They have their first pick, they have Cleveland's first pick, and they have Minnesota's first pick, and giving up the better of those three in 2029. That's more along the lines of what you're looking at to move up to number one. You're not going to involve a player. No way, shape, or form is that going to happen. Maybe a future first, not next year, but a couple of years down the line. Maybe that's probably more in the asking price of what you would need to move up one spot to number one. But come on, to involve a player in that, knock it off.
No, it's like doing something like that is akin to signing, a car deal at a 37% interest. I mean, you're just going to pay the piper.
Yeah. I mean, sure, it's fun to drive it. And then all of a sudden you get that monthly note and you're like, oh, I've done a very bad thing.
And I need to get out of it. So let's call Jake. Tim Daly.
Yep.
Tim Daly Mazda. Sorry.
Look at you.
Which will be there tomorrow.
You got this figured out. Yes, tomorrow we will be live down at Tim Daly Mazda Southtown, and those guys will be there to help you out with whatever you need. If you're in a bad car situation, boom, they're there to get you out.
So really the theme of the day is take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Know we've got number two, which is incredible. We wouldn't go back and do the lottery again. I think we're happy where we are, because the only thing you could do up is, you could sew it up one, but you could certainly drop back to 6, 7, and nobody wants that.
We're a little late on that, I think.
I know.
Has it already come and gone?
But no, I don't care, though. Those are the things that I like to.
We got 3 Gen Xers here. It's over, right?
I still have a pair of parachute pants I rock from time to time.
Oh, parachute pants. You know what, my wife, and she grew up, and my wife's a little bit younger than I am, but not considerably. And what were the name of those pants that all the quarterbacks were wearing? The Zumbies or Zubaz?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the stripes on them. And I saw a picture of that. Me and my neighbor, we were going back and forth on our neighbor group chat about those. And my wife was like, I have no idea what those are. I'm like, how do you not know? That was part of late 80s fashion there.
Well, I have a pair of those sew-up bike shorts.
Yes.
That are like half football pants. I don't really. Those are things that were disgusting. Those things they needed to be done before. That's what all the coaches wore in PE when I was a kid. They had the whistle hanging, polyester shirt.
Yep.
Polyester shirt with a straight long collars.
Yeah, and those bike shorts.
Yeah.
That and sadly did not leave a lot to the imagination. Especially the guys who were rocking those shorts are guys that probably definitely should not have been rocking those shorts.
Yeah. Just get a bigger shirt, my guy.
Yeah.
Do us all a favor.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with going up a size. You got to go 2, 3X. Hey, it's all right. Nobody's judging you. People are going to judge you more for trying to squeeze into the old L or the XL more than if you go up a few sizes.
That's easy for you to say now as a schmedium.
Stop it.
You're a schmedium. You're pushing the edge of small.
No, that's not even remotely close.
Schmied.
By the way, so this is a report coming out in the NBA, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I know you're not a doctor, but you've dealt with a lot of injuries. Soft tissue injuries are through the roof right now. In fact, they have gone up nearly 50 to 60% over the last 3 or 4 years. And when I say soft tissue, I'm talking calf and hamstring injuries. I know, I don't know how much time you spent with a trainer back in the day, but is there any reason why you think that's the case?
I would be a total guess, but mine is just, it's wear and tear, obviously the same type of wear and tear, but the torque, these guys are so much bigger, stronger, faster, and just like what they were talking about with Tiger Woods' swing, BT was talking about this week. You can violently swing at the golf club and rip your body through so many times, and it's going to react. And in basketball, it's very similar. I mean, these guys are big, strong. They've worked themselves to nearly no body fat, and so the torque and power and strength is amazing. And I think all those things combined would be my guess.
It's just really fascinating to see how that is, as the bodies have gotten bigger and stronger, there's still things that the human body should not be enduring. And I think we probably hit that point. Like you can do the training staff for these NBA teams is through the roof. And each player almost has their own individual assistant coach now.
Right.
And the amount of work and that goes on behind the scenes to make sure that the bodies are in pristine condition. But still, at the end of the day, you're asking, a human body to do something that it wasn't meant to do. And you put on a lot of muscle, and there's a lot of things that are going on there that you can do all the stretches and pyrometrics and all that other stuff, but it's still not ready for that kind of abuse.
And honestly, that's why that announcement by SEG yesterday was so timely.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. How about that?
A great joint venture with another great company in the state, and they're going to have, they're going to have something so close to a facility so close, basically in between those two practice facilities that will offer state-of-the-art care and really focus on preventative. I mean, I think that's the thing you have to start really doing is how are these injuries happening and how can we prevent them the best we can?
And sometimes it's not preventable. I mean, it's just these things are going to happen.
Happens,
so
right,
how
right.
can you get them back on the ice or back on the court as quickly as you can?
That's right.
And that's important to players. People think about, okay, players want to make a lot of money. Sure. They want to get a lot of endorsements. Sure. They want playing time. They want opportunities and development. But make no mistake, when teams are being evaluated by their players or potential free agents and just agents on where to place teams, they'll take a long, hard look at that.
Yeah, they look at your ability to take care of them, to prevent injury, and then to treat them when they have them. And just like everything that Ryan does and the Jazz do, he's out in front of it. This thing's 60,000 square feet, and so it'll be state of the art, and it will be something right there. Hockey, basketball will both have total access to, and hopefully we see an uptick in guys being able to stay healthy as the Jazz go from the Tank River to getting out there on the real wild river of the NBA.
The playoff push.
Yep. I mean, this is a Whitecaps. You get out. We've just been riding around going woo,
and now it's over.
Now you there's a little entrance and they kick you over there. Have you ridden that ride, like one of those raft rides with your kids at an amusement park or Disney, where you get in the big, humongous inner tube?
Yeah. And
then you're at its mercy as to whether you're going forward or backward.
Yeah, no fun.
Yeah, I took my young kid on that early on, and I learned my lesson.
Yeah, no.
Because we were backwards and soaking wet, and he was like, that was really fun. It wasn't fun.
No. I will not, whenever it involves the potential of getting wet, I will not touch it at an amusement park. No, I want no part of that.
Hands or butts.
Nope.
That's a hard and fast rule.
Nope. By the way, Mark tweets in, hey, what's with all this anti-Santana sentiment on the program? He's one of the greats. His set at Woodstock was an all-time. Daily play on the program would be just fine.
Hey, I respect it. I don't think we're disparaging the man. In fact,
No, I'm kind of with Lloyd on that one a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I mean, but
we've
a little bit.
But I think in the 15 days I've done this, we've heard him 74 times. So that's the only reason.
I get it. We're not hearing enough LaComb music. I understand.
Well, look, I love pizza. I love donuts. But, after, 20 straight days of it, you're like, I could go without a pizza right now.
But we are diplomatic, Mark, and we'll discuss this amongst us. Maybe we'll have a Santana segment and just embrace it.
I try to let Napolis make his mark on the show a little bit, and this was his mark of Santana.
And he attracted a mad mark.
You've been voted out, Napolis.
No.
We love you, Alex. I'm serious. Let's consider a Santana segment because I think this has been it's been kind of fun.
Well, apparently the listeners do not want us to disparage the great reputation of one Carlos Santana.
And that was never the intention. Absolutely, the Woodstock performance was one of the greats.
I've never seen it.
Well, we need to get you in.
Was it the old
film room.
Was it the old?
The old Woodstock.
The old Woodstock, not the '90s thing.
Not with Rob.
To put together.
No.
He and Rob Thomas rocking Woodstock. Great song. It was fun. It was a cotton candy song. You heard it once, you're like, okay, that's great. And then time to move on.
Hey, it's all that old stuff. Hoy como va. Oh, man. That's good stuff.
All right. So NBA playoffs resume. We've talked a little bit about certainly the game last night in which you saw the big come-from-behind effort from the Cavaliers, down 9 with about 3 minutes left. They come back. They win the game, and so now you're looking at a situation where we do not have a game tonight. No game on the docket tonight. You will have a couple of Game 6s on Friday where the Pistons will take on the Cavs, and then the Spurs will square off against the Timberwolves. And look, you've got the Spurs trying to close out the T-Wolves. That is in Minnesota, but I still think the Spurs probably put that one away in Game 6.
I think so, too. I'm with you.
And then you got Detroit and Cleveland. And at that point, Cleveland at home might just put the finishing touches on it.
Let's see if the Pistons have some backbone, because this is what it requires. You got to really step up. They are the better team this season, but can they actually stand up and force this to 7?
Where are you at on Cade Cunningham? Because he was incredible last night, but then also had some mistakes down the stretch that allowed Cleveland to come back in that game.
Yeah, I think he's great. And his the thing I like about him is he's a team guy. He scores 25 a night, but he gets 10 assists. He's got to cut down on his mistakes. That's what I've seen in this playoff run, and that's why you go through these playoff runs. I mean, it's just like we talked about with Uyghur and Cooley and the Mammoth crew. They had to go through it as a team. And they know now, hey, this is what's required. Sometimes, Cade's, this is his first time kind of taking a team with expectation into the playoffs. So a little bit more on him, but we'll see how he responds.
And he's going to be better for it. But Detroit, look, they were in tank zone for a long time. Now they rebounded. They had the best record in the NBA. But we've said all along, it kind of felt like the Jazz back in, 4 or 5 years ago, where they had the best record in the NBA and then got bounced in 6 games to the Clippers in the second round. And it kind of felt like Detroit was kind of like that team this year, where maybe there was a bit of fool's gold in the regular season.
Total great use of the word. And I think that the only difference is the Jazz couldn't get a stop that year, and the Pistons really struggled to score.
So
it's a little bit different in that regard, but it's a good point. They ran away best record in the West, and then the Clippers were able to just schematically take them out of what they wanted to do and put them constantly in rotation, and the end of that.
Well,
Trey Man,
and that's
Trey Man.
That's when you knew that it was done, and I know that they tried to run everybody back the next year, and they couldn't quite get anywhere remotely close to where they were, and then that's when it got torn apart. And look, there was a time where Ryan Smith said on this station, it's going to be painful. And I don't know if anybody really knew how painful it was going to be, because at that point when he said it is going to be painful, Donovan Mitchell was still on the roster. Rudy Gobert was still on the roster. And very quickly, those two got moved on. And then the tanking began, and it began in earnest. And it's been going on up until this last game of the year. And now it's over. Now it's about winning. But it's been a long stretch.
But what is think about what's meaningful in your life, or something you've accomplished, or what the things that mean something to you. They're the things that cause you the most pain.
Oh yeah,
right. Stuff you dig in and invest in. So pain is just part of the journey. But the beautiful part, there'll still be pain. I mean, we watched what happened to Detroit last night. Their fans are thinking, "Hey, we're going to go up 3-2." So there's still pain out there for the Jazz. Hopefully, not another Michael Jordan type thing from the free throw line that we withstood. But that's the price you pay when you get involved. And the good part, you said it, the Jazz are going to be out now in the Wild River with everybody else. They're going to be chasing Oklahoma City. They're going to be chasing the Spurs. And I think they're built pretty darn good to do it.
And Oklahoma City, not that they're going away anytime soon, but they're going to have some hard decisions to make with their salary. And, how deep in the apron do they want to get? Because they can get themselves into some financial trouble really quickly. So that's been kind of the point of what the NBA's built is, you know what, we're going to make you make hard decisions, and hopefully that'll bring some parity to the league, which I believe it has.
And they've been able to benefit from guys on smaller contracts.
Yes.
They're going to get paid, just like when Denver won. And, Bruce Brown was huge in that series, and he gets paid. He goes. So, yeah, it's hard to keep your team going down that path, and excellence is hard to maintain. I think as long as Shea's around and their core, I would assume they'll probably lean on Shea and Jalen and Chet, and then you kind of interchange parts around those guys. But I like the way the Jazz systematically approach this to compete with those two teams from a size perspective, because that's going to be a big part of it.
Did you coach against Chet, or were you guys gone before?
I was gone.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Coached about every other one of those Gonzaga guys.
It's just rinse and repeat.
Repeat.
Yeah.
Man, and it was tough because they did to us what the Jazz will do to teams next year. We had a small guy on the floor all the time, and so they would just pick on us, and they would go at those matchups. And that's what I'm excited to see Will Hardy with a full chest, and just to be able to go, okay, I'm going to try a little of this tonight, add a little pepper.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to really get after it, and I've got a ton of respect for that dude. Even in losing, like, I've watched him closely. He does a great job communicating, keeping these guys developing, and there's an accountability. Even with the losing, there was accountability that I really liked.
Well, he did come up with one of the greatest lines I've ever heard from a coach. That was a masterpiece in dog.
I was listening to that on the postgame.
One of the greatest lines, man. Well, that was a masterpiece of dog poop.
But a real kind of poignant moment, and it kind of served to be what the Jazz are kind of built around now, is he said, if you're going to play for us, you're going to wear that uniform. He was really fired up after the Dallas game when they just got shelled. And he said, if you're going to wear this uniform, you're going to play hard, and you're going to pass the ball.
Yep.
And that was a
I said it this year, this team, that's the one.
That's it.
No, but I said after this season, the Jazz had more assists this season than any other Jazz team. So, he puts it out there, and these guys, he's a guy they follow, and the guy they respect, the guy they want to play for. So I think people will be pleasantly surprised with Will.
Yeah, and it's good to actually, it's like, all right, let's go. Because outside of maybe that first half of the season in his first year, we haven't really seen the Jazz really attack and go after W's. I mean, that first year Will was there, they got off to a great start, and it was like Danny's like, hey, look, if you're not going to lose games, I'm going to help you lose games, and so we'll move some guys here at the deadline.
Big fella, right?
Yeah,
exactly. No, they got off to a great start, but I would say that every little piece of each team he's got those guys playing well, and more importantly, hard and together.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
On to Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb.
Now I know y'all are tripping.
Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Garrard alongside the coach. Let's get to it. It's time for David Locke.
It's time to get the inside scoop on the Utah Jazz. From the play-by-play voice of the Jazz, David Locke.
Sweet revenge! Ow!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know that intro, you hear it, and you know it's time for one of the greatest human beings on the planet, a great, great ambassador of the Utah Jazz, and the best play-by-play voice in the NBA. It is David Locke. Hi, David.
You need money? What's going on?
No, I know that Lloyd's done some damage to our relationship, so I'm trying to get back on.
You were laying that on pretty thick.
I know.
Yeah, that was really thick.
I'd go into skier before I'd go. There
was like great ambassador of the Utah Jazz. I was kind of with you, and then you kept going, and then I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
Oh, so I went too far.
I was like, are we having Ron Boone on?
It was believable for a little while, and then it became a little less believable. Yeah.
Oh, see, like I can't even compliment you at a good level. Like there's too much stuff to nitpick there. So I apologize.
My strength is self-awareness. So when it got a little thick, I was kind of aware of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Hey, so I saw the video of you. No recreation there. That was all, because every time I see these react videos, I'm like, did somebody go back and fire up the DVR and recreate this? I think that was live. To me, that seemed authentic. You didn't mess around with that.
That was totally authentic. They actually missed the good one. And the reason, I guess, that it was on was because they missed it. Like, they actually missed the good one because of my reaction. So when I think it was...
That's 6.
Somebody popped Chicago, right? I think popped. And then maybe Memphis popped. It was Memphis popped. Yep. So very quickly, if you were paying attention, you knew that it had to be it was us or Sacramento was coming up next, right?
Yep.
And then so Sacramento came up, and then when we didn't, you knew we were in the top 4. That would have been the far better video. That
like you got way
really
off the ground,
mind.
or explain it. Give us some play-by-play.
Yeah, more like running, sprinting up and down this little tiny hallway we have in the house with hands in the air, screaming probably loud profanities. So probably wouldn't have made air anyway. I think there was some alliteration with the word finally.
Yes, mathed.
Yeah, I think I was using alliteration, trying to,
I got you.
And I think that it was a verb with an ing ending and the word finally involved.
Flipping finally.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. I guessed it.
When in Utah, there you go. So there's so many options here for the Jazz.
I think it was oh my heck, oh my heck, oh my heck.
That also checks.
Right.
Gosh darn.
So
it actually went our way.
Yeah, that would have been, if you really wanted the authentic video, that would have been the better one. I didn't know. I think the reason my buddy was recording at that point, we had people over and had a weekend. And I think they thought they were going to get the same thing, because I actually didn't find out about it they were underwhelmed by my reaction, is what I really found out.
I did like that you called it. All right. Here comes Chicago. Now Memphis. And then Memphis pops, and it's like, all right, here we go.
I had a bunch of people in the house who knew nothing about how the lottery worked. And literally we had 6 people over. So we had my wife and then 2-3 couples, and the whole day had to stop so I could watch the lottery, which was super obnoxious as a host, but screw them. And so I was trying to explain, and they actually didn't get it enough that they actually thought I was like a genius, because for the first 14, I was announcing who it was going to be every time before it happened. So I was like, Oklahoma City, whatever, Charlotte. And they're like, wait, how does he know this? Oh my gosh. They didn't understand how the system worked. That it was totally rigged, that I was going to get it right every time almost. And then when Chicago popped, then I was like, okay, that's 1. Oh crap, that's 1. And then we need this. And then we got it. And I was like, okay, that's 2. All right, here's our time. And then I went crazy. That's what I was flipping finally.
So let's, I want to get your thoughts on, number 2 is awesome because you're going to get an elite player. And I've been watching a lot of Locked On Jazz, and there's a conversation about, do you draft best player available, or do you still, with a team that's really constructed well right now, do you still kind of lean into position? At number 2, does that change your perspective on that a bit?
Oh, no, this guy should be it doesn't happen this way. I think 94% of draft picks don't actually stay with their teams, but this should be your 10-time All-Star leader. This is your guy. it doesn't matter what position he plays. This is your guy. Like, you're not like we have two guys on our team who've been all-stars in Lowry Markkanen and Jaren Jackson, and they're really nice players. But like, this guy should be perennial all-star. Like, if it hits and it does what you're supposed to do with it, like it was interesting. Like, we watched Cooper Flagg this year, like one of the first games, and I said he's a Hall of Famer. And Ron Boone was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, no, he's the number one pick. They're Hall of Famers. Like, that's what they're supposed to be. Like, if you're a number one pick of a draft, you're supposed to be in the Hall of Fame. That's what you're supposed to do. And most of them are going to the Hall of Fame. Like, run down number one picks. They almost all go to the Hall of Fame. Like, so number two picks, even though they have a bad history, should be in that caliber, right? Like, you should be close to a Hall of Famer. Well, a Hall of Famer to me, like, Jaren Jackson's probably going to get close if you would get a few more All-Stars and be a Defensive Player of the Year again or something of that nature. But, like, I don't think Lowry's a Hall of Famer. I mean, I know Mitch Richmond's a Hall of Famer, so, like, anyone's a Hall of Famer. But, like
Mitch knew
we're talking
somebody.
about a guy who should be a 7 or 8 time All-Star. And so I don't care what position he plays. Like if part of me thinks it's Boozer, honestly. Like, I did something at the end of Locked On Jazz today that I think's super interesting. Every single big guy that plays handoff in the NBA can't shoot. That's why they play handoff, because you can't simulate pick and pop with guards in a pick and roll with bigs that can't. Well, Tim can know better than I am as a coach, so Tim, tell me if I'm wrong here. But the reason you have Osue Udaro and guys who can't shoot play the handoff game is because you can't simulate the pop of a pick and pop. And that's the best way you can do it with a handoff, is that you can kind of simulate that action to create space for your guard. Okay, there's one guy in the top, 20 handoff bigs who can shoot. It's Karl Anthony Towns. And you know who's the best in the NBA by a large margin at the handoff game? Karl Anthony Towns. If you can get a big that can pass and play the handoff game and conduct to the top and shoot, it might be destined to be a top 3 offense in the NBA if that's your fulcrum guy. Cameron Boozer might just be like a walking top 3 offense in the NBA.
You're on the Boozer bandwagon right now?
Well, I don't know that I'm saying that that's
change.
the pick, but I'm not saying that that's your pick, but I think it's a legitimate conversation. You better look into that concept.
For sure.
When you start thinking, the fact that of Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonce, and Cameron Boozer, do you know the only guy who shot 40% on above the break threes? Cameron Boozer. Like, Darren Peterson's shooting numbers, if you start looking at them, they're fine until you start looking at them by pockets. He's 29% straight away. He's 29% on the right side. AJ DeBonce's shooting numbers are disturbing.
Yeah.
I know that AJ DeBonce can do no wrong, and I got it. But truthfully, AJ DeBonce's shooting makes me uncomfortable. Now, it doesn't mean I wouldn't draft a 6'9" world-class athlete who can jump 40 feet on a max jump, has a great handle, super pacing, brilliant strength, plays hard. Yeah, I got it. But we still can have the item out there that makes you a little nervous, right? I'm a little nervous. You're a little nervous about Cameron Boozer and whether or not, his feet are so heavy and he's stuck to the ground, and whether or not he's going to be able to actually finish at the rim very well in the NBA, because Sabonis can't. And they're pretty similar in that sense. And Sabonis is not a very good rim finisher and gets bothered by bigger bigs. But he also can't shoot an outside shot, and Cameron Boozer can. So maybe Boozer's just taking that big guy outside and still killing him. I don't know. But it's a spot. How's Boozer going to be defensively? Sacramento's got a real problem with Sabonis as their cornerstone guy defensively. Is that going to be a problem for Cameron Boozer? Those are real. I would say this. I'm over the moon ecstatic. Over the moon ecstatic. This is crazy. It just blows my mind that we're adding someone of this caliber. It's truly awesome, and it is incredible. But I have watched these 3 guys a lot in the last 2 weeks. I don't think any of them are no-brainer. I think they're all great. But I will admit, I find this draft to seem much more normal to every other draft I've ever scouted than some totally historic draft, to be honest with you.
That's sometimes the hard narrative to break through in the draft. We've covered them together, and guys get slotted in certain areas. And I was looking at, Zach Edey going into the draft last year, and he was really thought of to be late first round. And it was crazy how early he went because, the analytics and then his combine, the stuff he was able to do at the combine and show. So, Yeah, the one thing I think, David, is just like you said, there is not one guy in this group that we have to have. I think the key is obviously trying to find out through all this intel, and then everything else you have, which guy you want to bet on, because I think all these guys will be successful in their own right.
And the other, and I think, and I also think, this is interesting to me. I had a totally different. I really try, and this leads me to making a lot of mistakes, frankly. But I really try to take in all the data without reading what everyone else is saying. I really feel like I have a great luxury. This gets a little deep here, but here's the problem with what goes on in NBA reporting. Okay, if you're a young reporter who's trying to make a name for themselves and you disagree with any of the 10 opinion makers, you get panned and annihilated in the space, right? And this has been going on for a decade, which makes the NBA Twitter conversation writing world almost entirely groupthink. I feel super lucky that I have a job as an NBA play-by-play announcer and a network that I work for or built where I am not in fear of having a different opinion, being wrong, and getting fired or getting panned. So I try to go watch these guys, take in the information that I can, analyze what's going on before I read any narrative or anything that's going on. I'll give you an example. My take of the combine was that Acuff could move into the top 4. Because every weakness on him, I thought, went away with his measurements. He measured the same as Dame Lillard. The whole book on him was he's too small and doesn't play defense. Okay, he's Dame Lillard's side. Dame Lillard's never played defense. Dame Lillard doesn't seem to have been a problem for people. If we could redraft Dame Lillard in that draft, he would be 2, 3, or 4. I wouldn't be surprised if Acuff jumps into the top 4 in this draft after looking at the combine numbers, because the dude can really play.
David
So
Locke,
I might be wrong on that. That's where I feel a little bit like I'm watching Peterson, I'm watching AJ, I'm watching Boozer, and I'm trying not to be impacted by what everybody else is saying all the time.
how much are you keeping an eye on Caleb Wilson? Because that guy really intrigues me as well.
I have not dug in as much on him as I have on the other 3. I guess I would have. I got to watch him. I might change my opinion. We can talk a week from now. I think I would have a hard time pulling the trigger at 2 on someone whose offensive game is inside 10 feet exclusively. Is that an unfair characterization?
No, I don't think. No, I don't.
Not at all.
I don't think that's unfair at all.
Have you guys been watching what's going on with Stuart Thompson in this playoff series?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the greatest defensive player in the NBA, I think. Right? They literally, if he's on the floor, and Kenny Atkinson should be put in detention, coaching detention, for making Donovan go one-on-one on him last night, late in the game. That is such a fundamental coaching failure. How are you not running a double stack or doing something to get him off him?
That reminded me of so many quarter or half endings when Donovan was here.
Right. Unless it was Donovan who did, but get Thompson off of him.
Right.
But Stuart Thompson, who is the best on-ball defender in the NBA, which means he's the best playoff defender in the NBA, because unless your name's Victor Wembanyama, big guys have a hard time. Great defensive bigs often have a hard time in the playoffs. I don't know if Jazz fans are aware of that. So, but he can't play. His plus minus for the series is minus 45. He can't play because he can't shoot. So, I don't want to overplay. I'm not trying to downgrade Caleb Wilson. I haven't watched him enough. But if Caleb Wilson is my 4 and my 5's not Karl Anthony Towns and we're in the playoffs, how does he play?
Spacing is offense, and offense is spacing, David.
Oh, my gosh, Tim LaComb, how did you coach in this game? I'm watching Kevin Young is an NBA. Oh, I'm done now. I'm done now. This is why you got a call last night.
Oh, really?
Okay. Kevin Young is an NBA coach.
Yes.
I don't have any doubt that the amount of times I'm watching AJ DeBonsa, and there is a guy in the right block and the left block. Where in the beeping hell is he supposed to be going with the basketball?
Yeah, we'll take this one
I
off
will
there.
post, if you follow me on socials at DLock09, I will post a screenshot last night that I took because I could not handle it anymore.
And I couldn't answer because I was taking a sleep study.
Well, I wasn't sleeping because I was so irate
you're
that I had
watching
to
this
watch
bad.
this crap.
I love this man with all my heart.
Oh my God. And by the way, just a thought for college basketball. If you have a superstar athlete on the left wing, put your big in the right dunker spot, not the left dunker spot. Stop driving elite athletes into guys, please. Bill Self, you're in the Hall of Fame. You should know better.
David Locke, everybody.
So freaking brutal.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
See, when he starts yelling,
It's
I duck.
seriously unwatchable crap.
There it is.
I'm ducking pencils.
There it is.
This is terrible basketball right now.
And I wasn't even doing a college game.
Oh,
Oh my
David, you gotta
God,
come
it's
in.
incredible.
You got to come in for a bit with us, and let's break these guys down.
Yeah,
when
let's
we-
do it.
When
This'll
we
be
get
fun.
a better handle.
yep.
Okay?
All right. If you follow
Thanks,
me on,
David.
all right, I'm going to post it. I'm posting it right now, by the way.
Okay, I'll look.
Just so
All
you
right.
know.
Giddy up, folks. You follow him on Twitter at DLock09.
It's called like I'll just at YouTube heroes.
No. You know, you don't need to include us on that. That's fine. You know.
Oh no.
Normally,
But
I like
here's
getting tagged by you. I don't want to be. I don't know if I want to catch the strays that's going to come from this.
Well, you're getting the strays.
Hey, he's going back to Barometer University.
Oh, yeah.
Remember those
Oh,
days?
yeah.
But
Oh,
here's
yeah.
Remember that, David?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I like. Like, I know Kevin Young's background, right? Like, if I didn't know better, I'd be like, what's going on? But like, Kevin Young would understand spacing. He would love to space. It would be his first choice, would be to space. He clearly couldn't space. This was, I think, Texas Tech. So this might have been after Richie Saunders was hurt. So like, he just doesn't have the guys. Like, I am 100% certain, 100% certain, there's zero chance that Kevin Young wrote out an offensive play that's designed with a guy in the right block and the left block, and he wanted it that way.
Yeah, I guarantee that. Yeah.
Okay, look at Twitter.
Looks pretty crowded. I just saw it.
Yep.
I
There
just
it
saw
is.
And everybody can go after us now.
Thank you,
I
David.
mean, like, seriously, and AJ DeBonsa is being criticized for taking too many mid-range jumpers. Like, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, I know. Thank you, David.
See ya.
All right. David Locke, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
One of a kind, my friend. I had somebody said, "What happened to Locke? He started screaming."
All right. Coming up, we will continue on here at Beehive Mills, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
When equipment breaks down and operations come to a halt, every single second counts. So why is your maintenance team spending 60% of their time doing anything but turning wrenches? MaintainX is the AI-powered maintenance and asset management system that helps your team get back to actually fixing breakdowns. No more searching for manuals. No more hunting down parts. No more drowning in paperwork. With MaintainX, your team can access manuals from anywhere, create new procedures in minutes, and turn voice notes into clear and complete work order feedback. What used to take hours now only takes minutes. Keep your operations moving and your wrenches turning. Join over 13,000 maintenance teams that are already fixing more and filing less. Try MaintainX for free today. Go to maintainx.com/AI. That's maintain and the letter x.com/AI.
Mammoth and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaComb, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up another edition of the show. Fun one today. Big thanks to David Locke for not only including us on tags that could get us some strays from BYU fans. I want none of that. You leave me out of that. And also, we had a lot of other great conversations as well. Took a closer look at Caleb Wilson. I want to get, tomorrow we're going to talk about Acuff. Is that a guy that could get in the mix on this thing?
Well, it sounds like David brought up a great point. I think the comment on him early was his size. He was a little small, but when he measured out almost identical to Dame Lillard, who everybody has compared him to. So if Dame can do it, he can do it. He's definitely got interest out there, and he plays a position everybody needs.
Right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake and Ben coming up next.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.